Last week on the show, we talked about what fine motor skills are and how you can help your children to develop fine motor skills. Now, I know it can be stressful when we're just starting out with something new, so I thought it would be helpful to give you a quick overview of some of my favorite fine motor tools that I always keep on hand. Hey there, Mama. I'm Lauren Brainerd, and this is Teach Your Littles at Home. I'm so excited you have tuned in as I share fun and hands-on activities you can use right away to help you play and learn with your little ones. So let's dive right into today's episode so you can make more memories than you ever dreamed of. Over the years, I have tried out so many different fine motor tools. Some have been great, some have been not so great. So today I just want to share my favorite top 10, so to speak, items that I keep together in a bin to have ready anytime I want to work on fine motor skills with my kids. Now, the reason I keep all these things together in a bin is because sometimes I'm just lacking inspiration. I don't have a specific thing in mind that I want to sit down and do with my kids, but I know that I can go to my tried and true fine motor toolbox, open it up, and find something. Inspiration always strikes, and I can do something with my kids. The number one fine motor tool that if you ask my kids what they like the best, hands down, it's dot markers. If you haven't tried these yet, go straight to my show notes, click the link, grab yourself a set of dot markers. They are our absolute favorite fine motor tool for working on hand control. All it is if you can imagine like a giant marker has an ink pad on the top and lots of ink inside. I bought one box of these. I think it's been 7 years now since I bought them. They're still going strong. Nothing has dried out and they're fun. You open it, which is great for working on hand strength. If those lids are on nice and tight, you can have your kids open them and then they just stamp the dots onto a piece of paper. I love printing out dot marker sheets from some different resources I have, and I'll have my kids actually dot inside each circle so that they have to get used to the idea of the dot marker gets stamped in a very precise location. If you don't have dot marker printables, it's easy. Just draw some circles with a Sharpie on a piece of paper and have your kids stamp inside them. The second tool or set of tools in my toolbox is shoelace, some large hole beads, and a hole puncher. Now, you might be thinking these things don't go together, but the reason that I've kind of lumped them all into one is because they're all for lacing activities. I love grabbing a coloring sheet that has one big character on it, and I'll just do a real rough cut around the character and then grab a hole puncher and punch some holes about every inch or so all the way around the character. Then give your kids that shoelace and have them actually lace in and out of that picture. Now, you can also buy lacing cards. They have them on Amazon. We've used them. They're great. Or you can make your own with just paper and a hole punch if it's something you want to do right now. I also love practicing stringing beads with large hole beads because when we're first starting out and our kids are little, it's really hard for their hand-eye coordination to get a shoelace into little tiny beads. So I find that the larger hole beads are a lot easier for them, and we move on to the smaller beads as they get older. The next thing in my toolbox are some Q-tips and a small container of liquid paint. If you click the link in the show notes, you'll find some little containers of paint that I love. They're really small, they have a screw top lid, and they're easy to use over and over again, and they're the perfect size for dipping a Q-tip in. And what we do with this is we work on painting, but using a Q-tip. So you can take that Q-tip, dip it in the paint, and your child will just go around a picture. And you can have them stamp on the outline of a character or an animal, a balloon, whatever might be on a coloring page using that Q-tip and that paint. Anytime they run out of paint, just dip and try again. The next thing in our toolbox is clothespins. Clothespins are excellent for building strength and control. So what I'll do is give my kids some sort of thicker cutout, or if you even have like a coupon book from the mail, something just not too thick. And what they'll do is they'll just clip those clothespins all around whatever the object is that you're giving them. I have found in the fall or really any time of the year when we're talking about spiders that it's fun to give a big black circle and have my kids just do 4 clothespins onto each side to represent the legs. The fifth thing in my toolbox are plastic tweezers and the squishy pom-pom balls. And what we do is we use the plastic tweezers to actually pick up each pom-pom ball. So if you give your child 2 bowls, they can use the plastic tweezers to pick up from one bowl and drop those pom-pom balls into the other bowl. It sounds easy, but you would be amazed how much skill and control it takes our kids because the pom-poms move and they're squishy. So this activity can actually take a lot longer than you might think. Water droppers are another really fun tool. They have a big bulb on the top, and then sometimes they're straight going down. Sometimes you can get the water droppers with like the squiggly plastic part. Your kids will just drop the water dropper in a cup of water, squeeze the bulb on the top, let go, it'll fill up with water, and then they'll use it to squeeze the water back into an empty cup. It can be a really fun science experiment to talk about how many dropperfuls they think it'll take to fill up the cup. Children's scissors are always in my toolkit. I make sure to get the blunt tip so that it doesn't have the real pointy part on the front of the scissors, because our kids have to be exposed to using scissors before they go to kindergarten. I love to make them a scissor strip paper where I just draw some lines from one side to the other, and they have to cut along the lines. Once they can do this skill easily, move on to cutting out pictures out of a coloring book. The next item in my fine motor toolbox are building blocks or cubes, and these are just for play. Make it fun. Have your kids build with blocks, stick them together, squeeze them together, see how tall of a tower they can make without it falling over or breaking. The next item in my fine motor toolbox is Play-Doh, because it is so good for our kids to work on. It can improve their hand strength, their control, it builds creativity, imagination. So many things come out of one little container. I can't keep all my Play-Doh tools, of course, in this one bin, but I have a separate box of Play-Doh and another one full of all of our tools. Sometimes we get it out and use it all, but sometimes I'll just give my child one Play-Doh container. And the reason for this is because it's just a great filler activity. If we have 5 or 10 minutes and I just need something for them to do that's going to help them play with their hands and use their imagination, I'll hand them a container of Play-Doh. Sometimes they'll just squeeze it. Other times I'll see it get flattened into a pancake, rolled up into a taco. They might build a snowman. There's so many things you can do with one little container of Play-Doh. The last thing I'll mention that I keep in my fine motor bin are stickers. And these are great for working on a pincer grasp, which is that 2-finger grip that a child needs to learn how to use. So what I'll do is stick a big piece of butcher paper on a wall. Now, if you don't have butcher paper, don't run to the store and get it. Just grab a paper grocery bag, the big ones that you get from the grocery store, and you're going to cut it open. So basically cut down one side and cut the bottom off, open it up, and you have a big piece of butcher paper you can use. Tape it to a wall and use a Sharpie to write your child's name across the piece of paper. Then what you're going to do is give your child a sticker sheet. Now, I love to use the colored dot stickers for this. I think they're like a 1/2 inch tall, because they're easy to peel off the paper and stick onto each part of the letter. Now, using things like stars are really fun, but it's a lot trickier to get all 5 points of that star to peel off the paper, whereas a circle tends to be better when we're first learning. If your child is a pro at stickers, move on to something like a star so that they get that extra practice. Once they peel off each sticker, they're just going to start with the first letter of their name and start sticking stickers all over each letter. This is a great introduction to learning how to spell your name, what the letter names are. You can even start to sound it out, but just to familiarize your child with their name without putting too much work into having to actually write it yet. Now, in addition to my fine motor bin, there's so many things around the house that you can just grab and use to build fine motor skills all through your day. So think about household tools. You have, or at least I have, metal tongs in my kitchen. Those are great for picking things up. Water in a spray bottle is great. You can have your child work on hand strength just by spraying the bottle. So I like to go out in the backyard and I'll give them a piece of furniture that might need cleaning or even just a concrete area and have them spray it down until it's nice and wet. They think they're helping. They have fun doing it. and it's great for building their hand strength. Paper cups are another great fine motor tool when you're working on hand-eye coordination and control. Just give your children a stack. You can use the paper cups or even like the plastic cups, the larger ones. And have your children stack out 5 in a row and just keep stacking on top to build a pyramid. It's tricky, and they'll learn quickly how they have to work on balance and coordination in order to get that triangle pyramid to stand. The final thing I will leave you with today is to make sure that you're giving your kids ample opportunity to build their fine motor skills when you're doing regular things throughout the day. If you're putting a sweater on your child, take the extra minute and let them help fasten the button. Or if you're putting a jacket on, have them do the zipper. So even if you're not sitting down with your bin of tools, ready to work on a structured activity, just remember to work on fine motor skills all through your child's day, because the quicker they build up these skills, the easier their life becomes for them. They become more independent and self-sufficient, and it helps to prepare them for writing when they're ready to actually sit down and hold a pencil and write. If you want to learn more about what fine motor skills are, make sure to go back and listen to episode 11, where I cover what fine motor skills are and how you can help develop them in your children. I can't wait to come back next week and share even more fun ideas you can do at home with your little ones. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Teach Your Littles at Home. I hope you are feeling so inspired to create a new activity to do right away with your little ones.
If you like listening to my mommy, will you please leave her a review?
Before you head off to plan the next activity, would you mind leaving me a quick review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening from? This is the only way for me to know if you're finding my tips, activities, and advice helpful, and I get so excited reading each and every review. I hope this episode has left you feeling empowered to try something new with your kids this week. And if so, would you please hit the share button and share this episode with another one of your mama friends who also wants to create activities with her little ones. I can't wait to share even more fun activities with you on our next episode. Have a wonderful rest of your day playing and making memories with your little ones.